Hey everyone, we're just going to give everyone a second here to get logged in before we start for the day. All righty. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're joining us from. Today's webinar is co-hosted by the New York Oracle User Group and Oracle partner Viscosity North America. We've got an awesome presentation for you today, and it is live. So feel free to submit questions in the Q&A field, and we'll get to your questions as we can. You've got a team of folks today helping out with questions from Oracle. So take advantage of their time, please, for this hour. It's a great opportunity for you to get answers directly from them. It is the Oracle Enterprise Management Product Management team. And so we're excited to have them again for our webinar series. Today's webinar with NYOUG, I'm co-hosting today with Coleman Leviter and Rob Edwards. Rob is going to tell you a little bit about NYOUG. I'll tell you a little bit about Viscosity. We'll be as quick as we can so we can get you the content you came for today. So I'm going to hand it over to Rob.
Okay, thank you, Monica. I'm Rob Edwards. I'm treasurer at New York Oracle Users Group. NYOUG was formed in 1984 for the exchange of ideas, assistance, and support among users of Oracle software products. We can be found on Twitter, which I think is now called X, Meetup, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We are also found on our website at nyoug.org. And we'd like to thank Viscosity and Monica for assisting and co-hosting these webinars with us for the last 3 years. Monica?
Thank you so much, Rob. Yes, it's been a great 3 years. We're on 3.5 years now. So it's been very fun and exciting. And I'm happy to have all of you guys coming back week after week to join us. All right, so let me get through my slides here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Coleman, and he'll introduce our speaker as well as Steve Lemmy from the same team, and they're going to get things going for you. All right, so my name is Monica Lee, and I'm the marketing director here at Viscosity. We are a full Oracle Stack consulting firm with core expertise in Oracle database. That includes RAC, Oracle Apex. We perform near zero downtime migrations for our customers, performance tuning, high availability, you name it. We've also got decades of experience with infrastructure, including engineered systems. We were Oracle's Partner of the Year for the Oracle Database Appliance. And now we're preparing our customers for Oracle Database 23C. And we host monthly workshops through orapub.com. If you guys are going to Open World, I'll also have a private party. So you're welcome to ping me after my follow-up with all of you guys. If you're going to be there, I'd love to have you hang out with us. All right, so on this slide, you can see our 3 pillars that we're built upon: data, apps, and infrastructure, or cloud. And across the bottom, you can see the things that we offer across all 3 pillars. So if you have any pain points across anything you see here on the screen, I'd be super happy to help talk to you and get you in touch with some of my awesome consultants. Speaking of some of my awesome consultants, this slide just shows those from our team that are part of the Oracle ACE program. And if you're not familiar with that program, Oracle awards these titles, like a tier of titles, to non-Oracle folks who are thought leaders within the Oracle database or development community. So these guys present all across the world on Oracle topics. They write blogs, books, case studies, whatever they can to help continue knowledge share and any information that they can share. It's all pretty much out there. So hopefully you own some of their books already, or you've seen them speak in person, but these guys are also who are helping viscosity customers on site and remotely. So if you need help, we've got a lot of great folks like them. Then on this page, just a couple more things I like to point out. If you need anything here, let me know. Some of the books I spoke about are here, newest ones being Oracle Database Performance Tuning, Upgrading Oracle Databases, which we'll be giving out for free at a book signing on the exhibit floor at Oracle Cloud World. And then Oracle on Docker also came out about 2 or 3 months ago. All right, and finally, orapub.com is where you can go to find all things Viscosity's put out there on webinars and conference sessions. So slide decks from conference sessions go on here, and then recordings and slide decks from webinars are posted here at orapub.com. We also offer live training and many other resources through here. You can go sign up for a free membership, click around, look around and see what things interest you. Training is at an extra cost, and there are tiered memberships that give you additional things, but as a free member, you have access to all the recordings and slide decks. For sure, check that out. And with that, if you are interested in more events coming up, webinars or in person, events.viscosityna.com. You can check that out, sign up for more of our joint webinars with NYOUG, or head over to nyoug.org. And I think I went as fast as I could, so I can hand it back over to Coleman and Steve.
All right, thank you, Monica. I'll make this introduction very short because we do have a lot of information being presented to the group today. One of the speakers is going to be Shiva Prasad, Senior Principal Product Manager at Oracle, and the other presenter is Amal. And I'm going to pass it on to you guys, and have a great webinar today. Thank you again.
Hey, Coleman, thank you. Yeah, we've got some stellar team members here on this subject matter, and we're going to have some live demonstrations as well. So this is Steve Lemmy from Oracle, and we try to always put business context to our technology, especially since new releases of EM are coming about every 6 weeks now. This is a subject matter near dear to my heart as a DBA. In the past, I was always told by my management to keep our databases secure. And then on occasion, they would ask me to essentially prove that. But what became more apparent was if an auditor showed up in the company. And auditors are no nonsense kind of people. I would have to kind of show them how I did things. And typically, if I did them with scripts, then they would really grill me. And I had to have things documented. And finally, when I found a way to automate it, it was an easy way to get the auditor off my back. So if you're a DBA, security and compliance of your databases is part of your job role. And so our speakers today are subject matter experts on getting that monkey off your back. So over to you, Shiva.
Thank you, Steve. Can you all see my screen?
We can.
Awesome. Welcome all. Today's session, let's look at an easier way for DBAs to self-audit and report databases comply with an industry regulations. My name is Shiva Prasad. I am part of Enterprise Manager Compliance and Configuration area, which is part of licensed product under DBLM, which is Database Lifecycle Management Pack in Enterprise Manager, which caters to security of Oracle database and its hosts. We have expert panelists today with me, Amol and Steve, will be answering your questions and concerns. Please use these resources as you need it. Imagine EM making life simpler for DBAs by automating the self-audit process, essentially doing the legwork for you and keeping your Oracle databases secure in line with compliance requirements. Imagine a solution that saves you the hassle of sifting through complex data, delivers comprehensive detailed auditing reports that confirms your databases meet all the required standards, essentially serving it in efficiency and productivity. To begin with, I want to take a moment to introduce Database Lifecycle Management Pack in Enterprise Manager that provides a rich set of features that supports database consolidation, enforces standardization, manage for security compliance, secure configuration for your assets, and automates time-consuming tasks. As the number of data breaches continue to increase, more and more companies are elevating their IT risk management and measure their security posture against the compliance defined by respective security office. With DBLM, you can automate day-to-day operational tasks, manage and secure your assets with a compliance and industry and regulatory standards like CIS, STIG, HIPAA, or PCI-DSS. Strengthening security, managing changes, especially undesired changes to reduce the risk of breaches. As you can leverage built-in autonomous health framework known as ExaCheck to secure, manage your database infrastructure stack for any health, performance, and security issues on Exadata machine. Another critical day-to-day operation task you must have in place is ensuring your database assets have all required recommended security patches to help protect your customer sensitive data going into the hands of bad actors. And DBLM has a solution called fleet maintenance that helps you in achieving this along with compliance management. With database lifecycle management pack, you can do comprehensive management of databases. With solution in this pack, you can automate complex patching activities, get automated security patch recommendations, help you to understand an Oracle home configuration with its recommendations, enables you to be compliant with industry and regulatory standards, and helps you to get stock of inventory and its utilization, the time. In today's session, we'll primarily focus on security compliance and configuration management with the intent to showcase solutions for you to secure your assets. Let's consider securing Oracle databases is paramount to protecting sensitive data, preventing unauthorized access, and maintaining system integrity. It is essential for regulatory adherence, mitigating potential risks, and fostering a culture of security awareness within the organization. Before I get into specific details of the solution, I want to take a moment to look at various stakeholders in your organization, where each of them have a critical roles to play for securing your assets. Chief Financial Officer, who is responsible for all the financial aspects of the company, plays the role of an influencer in making sure required regulatory compliance requirements are in place to ensure each asset is secure and compliant with the audit policies. CFO wants to make sure there isn't negative financial implications because of breaches or non-compliance to auditing requirements. Chief Information Security Officer has key responsibilities in securing every aspect of your assets to protect sensitive business and customer data, and also ensure each asset is compliant with various compliance policies. CISO will be looking at areas like practices and tools to put in place to patch vulnerabilities in a timely manner, ways to continuously monitor and manage secure configuration of assets and its corresponding compliance needs, and define remediations for each of the deviations besides a lot more other activities. Other stakeholders like CIOs, architects, DBAs, and system administrators have similar responsibilities. If you look at roles of each stakeholder, their top security concerns are monitor and manage risks, be it in applying security patches to address known vulnerabilities or potential misconfigurations or other threats. And each of these assets is compliant with audit policies. This is consistent theme across various levels within your organization. And why is this the case? That is because bad actors have many ways to take over your customer data. If you look at various data breach reports, you will see more than 45% of the breaches are due to their misconfiguration or insecure configuration of your asset. This has become the preferred ways for bad actors to exploit and get hold of sensitive information. Also, taking over accounts with elevated administrative privileges is another way for breach and anomalous behavior. About 74% of the time, privileged credentials have been abused. Lack of principles of least privileges for each user is a vehicle for breaches. Because of increasing number of breaches, enterprises are scaling up their efforts to address cybersecurity and compliance challenges. Per Gartner's 2023 top 10 IT risk assessment priorities, cybersecurity and compliance are the top two for a good reason. Any business interruptions because of breaches will have tangible impacts in many ways, be it reputation, penalties, and also potential trust issues by the customers.
Hey, Shiva, back up just a
Yes.
second. Just a quick
Sure.
reality check, because there's always the statistics. And I think this is really important, is if you're a DBA and you're not checking your configurations daily, there is probably some bad actor somewhere who is trying to actually attack your configurations daily. And all of these, as you mentioned, can lead to a breach. And unfortunately, those seem to be in the news every day. And often they point to then someone like an administrator or a DBA as the scapegoat. So certainly you want to be doing these type of things, i.e. checking your configurations, your privileges, and your adherence to management and compliance. Whether you're using EM or not, this is something you should be doing weekly across your database fleet. It's that important.
Absolutely, that's a great point. As we dive into the world of enterprise management, it's crucial to underscore the importance of security management by leveraging compliance standard capabilities. You can ensure and mitigate security risks, integrity, and availability of your IT infrastructure. Let's look at one by one of these circles. Security compliance. This isn't just adhering to security compliance standards. It's about protecting our most valuable assets. It can be a data, IT assets, reputation, ultimately business continuity. Implementing strong access controls and best practices by managing compliance frameworks, defining and customizing compliance standards and its rules. For example, such as ensuring automated policy violations and alerts, Exadata Cloud Health and Compliance. This is automated health compliance assessment on Exadata Cloud, easy to use, scales elastically, set of compliance standards and associated controls for overall health monitoring, automated risk identifications, and proactive notifications of issues for each Exadata system and its components and database instances. The data classification. Identifying and classifying sensitive data like what type, where, and how much, who can access data, and risk exposure to help apply appropriate controls to secure and protect, and proactively respond to the data privacy and security regulations. Configuration drifts. As business scales, managing configuration across numerous Oracle databases on servers can become challenging, leading into inconsistencies and introducing vulnerabilities leads to non-compliance and breaches. The last one, audit for compliance and security policies. This is very important to ensure they comply with the different regulations such as CIS, STIG, HIPAA, and PCI, and so forth. Database auditing is typically used to monitor activities of privileges, database administrator, detect unauthorized activity on sensitive assets, assist with investigations of data breaches or other suspicious activity, provide proof of monitoring critical IT assets to auditors, provide reports on changes to the database environment to auditors. Securing Oracle database is much like securing any other system. You are protecting your data. That could be intellectual property, financial data, personal data, and your customer data, and as well as the staff. A combination of all, because data is valuable, you need to guard against theft and misuse. You need to safeguard the data with security controls that restrict access according to your policy by using either industry standard benchmarks or custom policies. By securing configuration of Oracle databases underlying Linux hosts and Exadata engineered system, you can get a unified view of overall security compliance for all these targets managed by Enterprise Manager. There are a broad set of standards provided by Enterprise Manager for databases, for Linux hosts, and for Exadata engineered systems. By securing each of your targets, you are essentially securing your infrastructure stack and improving security posture. You can automate remediation of any violation, thus reducing the DBA time in manual remediation of each target DBA owns, which is going to be very time consuming. For databases 12C and 19C, there is a support for CIS benchmark out of the box. It supports all target database target types. It can be a single instance, cluster, and multi-tenant at scale. Enterprise Manager also supports STIG standards that are periodically published by Department of Defense. STIG standards for 11G, 12C, and 19C database targets are supported. Enterprise Manager also supports Oracle's own set of security best practices and recommendation. Each of these standards provide a set of compliance checks for various components of the database, whether you want to focus on just the database initialization parameters or monitor user privileges or more broader checks. In addition to these out-of-the-box rules, you can either customize each of these rules or create a brand new rule that aligns with your security policy. In addition to all these capabilities, Enterprise Manager now integrates DBSAT for you to assess the database security posture at scale. CIS benchmark provides comprehensive configuration coverage for Oracle database. This covers Oracle database installation and patching requirements, parameter settings, database connection and login restrictions, user access and authorization restrictions, and audit policies and procedures. Each of these have set of comprehensive checks. For example, ensuring certain users have broader privileges, while some will have restricted access to various database components like tables and other objects. Each configuration group defines detailed requirements to ensure secure configuration of Oracle database targets. Let's look at the use case. This is like a minimize administrative privileges. Oracle provides recommendation for securing user accounts and privileges. Grant necessary privileges only. Do not provide database users or more roles or more than privileges that are necessary. Restrict, like for example, create any job, become a user, export full database, and import full database. These privileges are very powerful for security related privileges. Only grant these privileges as needed on demand to the users who needs them. CIS benchmark provides checks to ensure user access and authorization restrictions. These authorization must be able to block unauthorized use by setting restrictions on user capabilities. Benchmark includes checks for revoking various privileges, whether it is tied to a system privileges or object, a role or table, and other user privileges. Here is an example. sys.eod$ is an audit trail table that contains all audit records for the database. This check is provided as part of the revoke excessive table and view privileges. Unauthorized grantees should not have full access to sys.eod$ table. Providing authorization for non-privileged users to manipulate this table will potentially lead to the user modifying the audit records and as well as hiding unauthorized activities. Similarly, there are remediation steps provided for each of the other tables in the database. For example, history $ table or users table. So now let's move into host compliance, which ensures crucial step in safeguarding and minimizing the risk of potential threats to Linux-based systems. While securing database configuration is very important, it is also critical to secure the underlying host. Now, let's look at what is available for Linux hosts so that you can leverage these standards for protecting your infrastructure. Enterprise Manager supports SCAP framework for Linux hosts by leveraging OpenSCAP engine in the host. That's a prerequisite to have an OpenSCAP engine installed. Standards like PCI-DSS, HIPAA, and STIG are supported out of the box Linux version 7 and 8. So if you're in the healthcare segment and you wanted to secure your Linux environment to be HIPAA compliant, you can leverage this out of the box standard. PCI-DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, primarily caters to enhance cardholder data security and facilitates the broad adoption of consistent data security measures globally. PCI-DSS provides a baseline of technical and operational system settings and its requirements designed to protect account data. And services which controls to review the software which Oracle Linux installs on a system and disable software which is not needed. It then enumerates the software packages installed on a default Oracle Linux system. It provides guidance about which ones can be safely disabled. PCI-DSS primarily caters to enhance cardholder data security and facilitates the broader adoption of consistent data security measure globally. PCI-DSS provides a baseline of technical and operational requirements designed to protect the account data. There are 12 PCI-DSS requirements grouped by 6 goals: build and maintain secure network, protect cardholder data, maintain vulnerability management program, implement strong access control measures, regularly monitor and test networks, maintain an information security policy. Let's look at HIPAA security rule, which is separated into 6 main sections that each include several standards and implementation specification that covered the entity must address. These are the 3 sections relevant to security of IT systems with electronic protected health information: administrative, physical, and technical safeguards. Each section has numerous standards calling out various aspects of ensuring protection of health information. Each standard has implementation specification providing recommendations on implementation. Here is the listing of few standards for each section. There are 140 rules applicable for securing Linux environment. 113 of these rules are applicable to system settings, 27 are applicable to system services. Here, we secure, detect, and remediate. Linux compliance with HIPAA entails implementing strong access controls and regular audits, incident responses, maintaining confidentiality in healthcare settings, all of which help in detecting, preventing, and responding to unauthorized access and any potential health information data breaches. Let's look at Exadata compliance. We can explore how to secure Exadata engineered system for security compliance to reduce vulnerabilities with autonomous health framework. Enterprise Manager 13C, RU5, Release 5, Update 3 integrates Oracle Autonomous Health Framework known as AHF ExaCheck for Exadata engineered systems. Oracle ExaCheck is a lightweight and non-intrusive health check framework for the stack of software and hardware components in Exadata. Enterprise Manager provides a set of compliance standards and associated controls for overall health monitoring, automated risk identifications, and proactive notifications of issues for each Exadata system component and database instances. Maintains compliance with components specific to best practices, notifies any performance issues or vulnerabilities to known issues, which eliminates virtually all of the complex association with managing and securing databases on premises. Oracle manages the hardware, automates databases and other infrastructure by maximum availability architecture, known as MAA. The discovery will be based on OCI REST APIs, and these will be fired using an agent which is deployed and hosted inside customer premises. The agent will get the XRCC infrastructure details like CPU details, DB configurations, and number of storage cells and other target types available, and so on this diagnostic data collections and presented in EM and reports, easy to use and remediate. Let's discuss how to secure Exadata engineered systems for security compliance to reduce vulnerabilities with autonomous health framework. Enterprise Manager integrates AHF ExaCheck for Exadata engineered system. Starting with 13.5 RU12 release update, you can use XRCC compliance standard health check to run on virtual machines, Oracle databases, Oracle grid infrastructure, and Exadata system software, and collect diagnostic data and remediate violations at scale and on demand. It keeps data physically on site, which is very crucial, and which allowing Oracle to manage and support the database servers. Exadata Cloud at Customer, known as XRCC, uses virtual machine technology to separate the customer managed and Oracle managed components on each compute node. Each Exadata component target violation has represented here graphically based on severity of violations. Critical issues identified in each Exadata component requires prompt resolution, which ensures system integrity and optimal functionality.
Hey, Shiva, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt again, but again, I think this is another important area just to touch upon is these specific checks take into account the particular technology. So no matter whether it's the Oracle database, which is pretty much the most heavily instrumented database in the world, our database systems, our engineered systems, such as, Exadata, they all have particular aspects to them. And so EM is helping check those particular things. Now, we're often asked, well, how do you compare this to, some other third-party tools in the market? And when we've gone and looked, unfortunately, many of those just do some casual checking. They're not as intricate. And many of them look at, for instance, just the Oracle 7 database dictionary. And if you just go look for yourself, if you compare the Oracle 7 data dictionary documentation.o.com, it's about 350 pages. And that's what I used to do the Oracle poster with. The 23C documentation on the data dictionary is over 1,600 pages. So these are all the things that could be vulnerabilities. And unless you're combing through that, which I know most DBAs don't have that kind of time, they could be, particular exploits, and guarantee you, again, those bad actors are doing their homework. So again, make sure you're keeping not only current in whatever you're checking, make sure its underlying infrastructure, whether it's on premise in an engineered system or in the cloud, is properly being checked. I thought that was be important to add.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Steve. Like, even though, as you said, the documentation went up a notch, like a next orbit as the volume wise, but it is very nimbler and simpler, and it encapsulates the bigger landscape. That's pretty good. So moving on, by integrating ExaCheck in Enterprise Manager, you will also get in-depth review evaluation in native ExaCheck report. You can leverage this report for comprehensive analysis of each component in Exadata. You can use this report to check Exadata critical issues, specific component like database servers or storages or other server issues. Look at top 10 time consuming checks it provides and much more. Let's delve into out-of-box DBSAT with Oracle Enterprise Manager is an easy-to-use tool that quickly provides insight into security configuration of databases, including user entitlements, security policies, controls, and the locations of sensitive data. It expedites the assessment and regulatory compliance process by collecting relevant configuration information and evaluating the current security state and providing a recommendation to mitigate identified risks. There are unique security rules spread across various areas. You can secure, detect, and remediate database assets. Here, some of the important components of it: user access and restrictions, database configuration, fine-grained access control, audit system activities, sensitive data identification. These are all main categorization of rules under this standard. There will be a notification for each violation. You can review each violation and manually remediate, or you can establish auto remediation to correct any violations. Enterprise Manager Compliance Framework integrates DBSAT for enterprises to do security assessment of database assets at scale in one workflow. Identify risk at areas belongs to database configuration, operations, or implementation. Recommends changes and controls to mitigate those risks, mapped to industry standard benchmarks like CAS or STIG and other like European GDPR best practices. You can leverage this out-of-box DBSAT compliance standard in Enterprise Manager at fleet level assessment. Starting with 13.5 RU11 release update, we integrated Oracle DBSAT sensitive data assessment report besides EM own compliance evaluation report and security assessment report. Using this report effectively, you can improve data security, ensure compliance with the data protection regulations, and minimize the risk of data breaches. With this sensitive report, you can identify and understand the scope and location of sensitive data within your Oracle database. The report provides a comprehensive list of database objects containing sensitive data column information. Based on predefined sensitive types and rules, it can help you to develop inventory of data management policies and processes. Implement data protection measures. This sensitive data identified in this report, you can implement appropriate data protection measures such as encryption, data masking, data redaction, and other tools which can protect your organization data from unauthorized access and exposure. Restrict access to sensitive data. Review the user privileges and roles associated with the sensitive data columns identified in this report. Implement the principle of least privilege by granting only necessary access to users who require it and access those for their job functions. And adjust your scrutiny of policies and controls accordingly. Use this sensitive data report to educate your organization employees about the importance of protecting sensitive data. Provide training on best practices by providing awareness training. Let's move on to configuration management. We can dissect this transformative power of configuration management, which is essential for Oracle databases and its system stability and security, enhancing and driving efficiency across your IT landscape. Now, let's switch gears and talk about misconfiguration. That is one more preferred ways for bad actors to take over sensitive customer data. Security configuration management feature enables you to continuously track any configuration deviations from the baseline defined by your security policies. Besides tracking violation, configuration management enables you to standardize on the number of configurations in your data center so that it enhances your security posture and also reduces the maintenance. With drift management, you can continuously monitor and ensure all your targets are compliant with your baseline and collect your own customized configuration by leveraging configuration extension and deploy it on the target. Out of the box, security baselines will enable you to continuously monitor, as I said, in the configuration and determine your security posture. Key benefits of security configuration management enables you to enhance overall security posture, standardize on configuration. Reports will help you to audit for compliance with your policies. Whenever there is a deviation, you can use recommendation and workflow to remediate it. You can automate remediation, which contributes to efficiency and productivity and saves a lot of time. Let's look at some real use cases where configuration drift plays a role. Typically, customer has requirements to compare. For instance, you have a need to compare specific parameters that aligns with your best practices. Goal is to detect any configuration deviations, make sure there is a notification, and then remediate each of those deviations to be compliant with baseline. Another example is the rack DB instances. Goal is to ensure all of these instances within cluster DBs are consistently monitored and as well as compared, and which is well defined in configuration parameters, which are very much important. Large-scale configuration comparison of similar target types to ensure configuration is same as reference. Once you have defined and saved comparisons, a change configuration automatically start as a recomparison. If you have a setup notifications, you will be notified of these changes, which all happens very autonomously. Comparison allows you to ensure track differences against baseline, ignore certain attributes during a comparison, define comparison on templates to disregard unnecessary attributes. notify key personnel when differences are detected. Let's look at configuration collections. EM collects comprehensive configuration metrics. If you want to collect any custom configuration metrics, EM provides capability called configuration extensions for customer data collection or customized data collection. Customized configuration can be collected on well-known target types or on target type introduced as a part of the configuration extension definition. You can either define an OS command or define a SQL query as part of creating extension to gather specific configuration details that are relevant for your day-to-day management and security policies. Let's go over demo on the CAS and PCI compliance standards. On the CAS, we're going to look at the creation of user action audits in compliance, which significantly mitigate the risk of unauthorized data access, and which is like concern about privacy policies and practices has been rising steadily with the use of databases in business and as well as through internet. Auditing is always about accountability and is frequently done to protect and preserve privacy for the information stored in databases. So here you go. We'll start with the CAS. You all can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can, Shiva.
I'm logging in as a sysman. So I'm traversing to enterprise compliance library. We have compliance framework, which is out of the box. This padlock symbolizes these are the out of the box standards which are available. Let's go to compliance standards. I'm going to look for CAS 19C. Applicable to database instances. I'm going to search, and there are two types of compliance standards are available. One is unified auditing, which enables selective and effective auditing inside the Oracle database using policies and conditions. This policy-based syntax simplifies management of auditing within the database and provides the ability to accelerate the auditing based on conditions. Yeah. The other one is a traditional one. The traditional one is technically includes operations on privileges, schemas, objects, and statements. This audit trail will be written to your operating system files. So I'm going to pick Unified Oracle 19C database CAS standard. I'm going to associate the target types. Sorry, let me step back again. Picked up a group rather than targets. So I'm going to pick two databases. One is in 19.18, 19.17. There are two versions. These are two databases I'm going to associate. Click OK. I'm going to submit these two targets for CAS compliance to run on it. This will take about 3 to 3.5 minutes to process it. And meantime, you guys can ask questions.
Shiva, that's it. It takes about 3 minutes to do this. I remember again when I was a DBA, just trying to read through the different, compliance type documentation, make kind of heads or tails of it, what applied, whether it was CIS or a STIG or COBIT, and so, okay, now go look at, okay, which of the different database versions do I have to worry about? And then probably write a different script and then edit it for different versions of the different databases. And then of course, set up a cron job to, to do this. And then finally, after I got it all set up, you know what happened, Shiva? Then some developer or someone else, like an application admin, changed something, did an upgrade or some third-party product, and then I had to go back and do it all over again. And finally, I kind of fell behind and gave up.
Oh, great.
So
Amol, yeah,
I'm not a DBA anymore.
Amol, would you like to add some more information in this?
Yeah,
Since
so
we're waiting.
the rule, right. So after associating the compliance standards, what's happening behind the scenes is all the rule checks are running on the actual target. And those are being run by the enterprise manager agent on behalf of the user. And that's what takes time, right? So the time that Shiva mentioned is basically needed to run all the SQL checks, gather the data, parse the data, and then arrange the results in a compliant results format. But like we heard, I mean, it's like multiple times better than having to automate them manually or to cron jobs or going through the documentation. And that's the value add we provide at the fleet level. Yes.
Yeah, that was the other thing on the earlier comment, in regards to auditors. Auditors are looking for a repeatable process. And unfortunately, custom scripts don't hold up anymore. You used to kind of show those to an auditor, but if you look at the latest IT auditor standards that they're now doing, the auditors have gotten really smart. So they're looking for something that is repeatable, that doesn't introduce human error. And so when you're able to essentially attest and show them that you've got something, commercially helping you, it helps you more quickly, again, get that auditor off your back. Now, we've got a question, Shiva, and again, thank you for using the Q&A. We've got some great questions that have been coming in. Again, it's related to the licensing. As Shiva had shown up front, this is a capability of the DBLM pack. And in regards to it, Shiva, they're specifically asking about DBstat. Some folks may be doing the free DBstat type activity. How would you kind of differentiate what you were just showing to that, Shiva?
Yeah, it's a DBstat. It is a free tool which is available in a command mode utility, and that is integrated into Oracle Enterprise Manager, which is like out of the box compliant standard, which we fire up the agent and which goes into targets. Currently, we have it for the database instances at scale. You can attach multiple databases at scale and collects the data and collections and bring it over to the EM side, and which will show it to you guys. Just to show you, like, since that is going on, I can show you the DBstat standard, what we have here.
And I think one of the differences here is if you've got, say, 10 databases, then what you're doing with DBstat today may be fine. But say you have 100, or we have customers who have thousands of databases, and that just may be too much for them. So bringing it into EM and doing the additional automation and functionalities that Shiva is showing, could be a huge benefit to a large enterprise.
Let me check here.
You may want to use the full name, not the abbreviation DBstat. Sure.
Okay.
Or use the keyword DBstat.
Here you go. Yeah,
So
this is the one. Thank you, Amol. So this is the one which is integrated, and we have main the rules, and underneath we have a sub rules. And this is the one which I talked about, sensitive data assessment. Steve, you are talking about all the sensitive information which gathers, which is predefined, and they can use it to protect the data stuff. And it has all the other parameters on user accounts and privileges and rules. It is going to automatically remediate and shows like what are the violations are violated, and gives the comprehensive compliance report, and which is also maps to GDPR guidelines, CIS and STIG too. That's the beauty of it. So that way they can look into it and trying to remediate automatically or manually for each organization, however they would like to know about it. For example, if I look at this policy, and you can see which has the description of each, what is the description of the rule, and which provides the SQL query too. And with the rule status also, when you associate and run this DBSAT compliance against the given target, it provides all the rules which are pass or fail, and gives you the whole landscape of the compliance side of it, which can tighten the security.
Well, since you're running a live demo, Shiva, and the clock continues to tick, maybe why don't we go back and see if the job is done, and continue on and start to wrap up today.
Here you go. So here we are, this is the results, and we can see the two database target types we attached. The one which gave 149 violations, and the finance, the other database has 80 violations. Let's look at the finance one. And these are the critical violations it logs. And basically you can look at it, each violation and with its violation details, and you can export to Excel, and then you can remediate offline. You look at it and do that. Let's take an example of this, or a used case of the unit. One of the rule which is failed here, the create user. And this is the one for the unified auditing, which has the create user statement and the description of it. Basically what it does is this particular create user, whoever issues, that needs to be tracked and logged. So for that, in this particular database, that particular audit policy hasn't been enabled. So if you look at it, that is the way this can be enabled. It gives you the recommendation to turn on so that it can keep track of it, the user activities, who is doing what. So that way it helps, and it creates the report also that I'm going to show it in a few minutes later. And you can go in and look at it here and further, all the details about it, like what it is and all the details of it. And then
so Shiva, this is really useful, I think, for DBA for one of the other use cases. It's common is internal, reviews. Often we know as DBAs that, developers have environments and often ask for extended privileges. And sometimes you can't necessarily push back, but it's a security risk. So you can have reporting like this. And then, of course, have the discussion with your manager, who then presents it to the manager of the development team and say, hey, we've identified that, your particular databases have these type of security things per company policy. We either need to shut them down, or you need to fix your privileges, or have us fix them for you. So this type of reporting is invaluable for making sure, those empty buckets and things and places that haven't been as secured by others get secured, because again, being a DBA, you certainly don't want that to fall back on you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The same way there is different auditing rules out here. Those rules are failed. Those are the rules which you can see it in this landscape in the real estate. And one more thing I would like to show you here, as we're looking into this results. There is a way you can manage violations. Like sometimes, like each organization has different ways to do this part of it. Like these are the violations you can, which is available. You can suppress if you want. Any violation needs to be suppressed. You can select that rule and you can suppress those violations. Clicking on this particularly, you can do it one at a time or multiple. And there are a couple of ways you can do suppress violation indefinitely, because different organizations have a different rules. They can set it up, and you can do it based on a certain date you wanted to do that, or depending upon your IT infrastructure policies or database policies or application needs. This is one of the powerful features, and you can put your comments why this has been violated. This is really helpful. And let's go back to the dashboard. We provide one of the one-stop shop dashboard. Here you can see like the targets evaluated. Like earlier there was one, but two targets, like the two databases attached, and total I showed you how many violations, combination of those two databases. And it shows like total 229, which are all critical, which is graphical representation, and security incidents, how many are there, and which represents the into the database instance. And here we have, and you can also go with the target wise. Also, you can look at each target wise, also which can be looked into. For example, finance database has 80 critical violations, and the other EM rep has 149 critical violations. And there is a compliance report which creates for you guys to look at it at one place, and which represents what are the past rules, what are the failed rules, and this is like a complete scorecard of the health of the database and the security is concerned. This is the score it represents, and you can see the different rules, like close to about 85 of the CIS rules. Like in that, there are 50 passed and 35 failed, and which gives, let's look at one of these rules, like for example, which will give you the description and the severity, what it is, and what needs to be considered, what is the rationale behind it, and how you can fix it. This is one of the handiest, and it's a one-stop place to look at it. So that helps to remediate and to take any actions to secure your databases. And also, when I go back to the report in the standard side of it, there is one report. It's combination of all the two databases, similar like the one which I showed you, which consists of comprehensive compliance evaluation report, which has again the scorecard about the other database, about 45 past rules and failed rules, and the compliance score, whether it represents. And you can drill down to each database with its own set of rules. It's a one-stop shop to look at it. And this is one database, and the other one is finance. This is the way it works. So this concludes the CAS Oracle database demo. I can move on to the compliance for the host. Is there any questions you guys have?
Well, since we're running a little bit over, why don't you show something very quickly? And again, we've got some resources for folks who stay on to the end. You can actually try out some of these capabilities actually out on our Live Lab site. So why don't you quickly go through the last demo and then we wrap it up then?
Sure. I'm going to move on to the host compliance. Going a little bit.
And again, folks are using the Q&A, and thank you for doing that. If you've got particular use cases in mind, questions related to the subject matter, we're here to help you get those questions answered. So keep entering them as Shiva continues.
Yeah, here you go. This is a PCI-DSS, like the payment card industry data security standard, which I'm going to associate a target with it. And this is a Linux host for Oracle Linux 7. And I have this host. I'm going to attach it. And it is enabled. It's going to be, I'm going to submit the compliance standard on this host target. And you can see the status here. And it's successfully done. And I'm going to check the results now. Here you go. So we have PCI-DSS result set here. And again, similar like the one which I was showing you, the violations and the scorecard, you can see all this in this side of it. I'm going to give you one quick snapshot of one of the change mod rule. Like this will give you like a number of users, including root, has what kind of permissions on the file system on Linux operating system. This will, in this case, it triggered fail. And there is a way you can go here and see the details correspondingly and the further details, and you can remediate how to fix this and who and which users have file system access, where sometimes the credit card data or some of the cardholder information is stored. Only certain users can have access to it. You can remediate it. And we are coming to the last phase of it on this report side of it. Again, it provides a dashboard. You can look at it. Again, it shows you the PCI-DSS, the standard, and the report. Again, it plays a very crucial role to look at it. Again, it is similar like the one which is CIS. This has a PCI-DSS standard with the pass rules, failed rules, and compliance score. You can look at like each individual rules. There are like 106 rules out there. Among that, many of them are failed and some of them are passed. You can go to each individual ones and look at it and remediate. This is truly on Linux OS. This is very handy for host compliance. And similarly, we have it for HIPAA and other STIG standards also. And this concludes our demo. Is any questions? Please feel free to ask these questions if you have any.
No, Shiva, at this time, we don't have any standing questions. Again, thank you for all the questions so far. As Shiva is showing, you know, it's one thing for us to show the technology, but there's so many applications of it. So the best thing to do is to take advantage of the resources, whether it's the blog site, the videos the team has. There was just an EM technology forum several weeks ago, 3 days of free content on Enterprise Manager, including a sneak peek on EM24. So here are some links to help you take advantage of that. But Oracle Cloud World is around the corner. It's less than 25 business days away. And I want to thank Shiva as well as Amal for their help here. And again, feel free to type any remaining questions. But Coleman, I think NYOUG members have a discount or something for Cloud World?
Yes, through the generosity of Oracle, there'll be a discount for NYOUG members. Please look on our website, nyoug.org, for details.
And if you don't let the name Cloud World deter you, there is actually on Monday an extra 4-hour EM masterclass for 30 lucky people. That one is an extra fee, but it is taught by the PMs of those products. And then the rest of the week, there are hands-on labs with EM, as well as sessions and demonstrations, and of course, many other technologies. So I'm looking forward to see anyone who can make it out to Cloud World. And Monica, you mentioned that you're going to be out there with some books too, right?
Yep, I sure will be. So I will make sure to tell everyone in some follow-up emails how you can find us. And also, if you're interested in coming to hang out with us, it's normally Viscosity, a bunch of Oracle PMs and a bunch of ACE directors. So, come hang out, come talk to all these folks at our party. It's at the Cosmo Hotel every year overlooking the Bellagio fountains. So we would love to have you. Also, I just launched a poll if you're still on. If you're in the New York City area, would love to know if you guys would be interested in an in-person event as we try to go back to in-person in a bunch of different cities. It would be great to know what you guys are interested in. Otherwise, once this webinar is done rendering, NYOUG and viscosity via AuraPub, we'll have it posted and we'll send you guys information on that. So if you have any other questions that you think about later, you're also welcome to send them back to NYOUG or myself, and we can send them over to Shiva and Steve.
And being that I work at Oracle, again, want to thank you for your time. And we always like to support our independent user communities. So if there is subject matter, certainly on Enterprise Manager, observability and management, would love to be able to, bring some more PMs and some of these types of presentations to NYOUG members. We have our expanded database team and OCI team. Just let your board of directors know, and they'll help get it arranged for you.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're probably all good to go. Again, this was a live webinar, so once it's done rendering, we will send you guys a link on how to rewatch it. And otherwise, thank you so much, NYOUG, Shiva, Steve. We're always so happy to have you guys out here speaking to our group. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
All right. You all take care. Coleman, Rob, thank you guys.
Okay.